Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome once again to another Tuesday night right here with We the People, presented by the Diamond Factory. Tonight, we have a very distinguished guest. Mr. Don Jackson will be joining us, our usual panel. And tonight, if you followed us on Facebook at all, you'll know that our topic tonight is about hope and the weaponization of hope, the perception versus the reality. And as always, I'm going to open up the show with my little monologue, and these are my thoughts, and my thoughts are only. So they do not necessarily reflect the views of the panel, though they may or they may not. Uh, but hope. Uh, it's a word that we're taught to cling to when everything else collapses. The preacher says, hold on. The politician says, believe. The system says, wait. But what if hope, the very thing that was meant to heal us, has been turned into a weapon, a leash, a lullaby? What if organized religion, politics, and power all find ways to preach hope in public while profiting from it in private? They told our ancestors to hope for heaven while they built hell here on earth. They told us to hope for justice while they wrote laws that denied us. They told us, the prophet, excuse me, they told the poor to hope for blessings while passing the plate and keeping the change. And the tragedy is, many of us still believe them because hope feels holy, it feels safe, it gives pain a name and delay a reason. But if hope keeps us waiting while others keep winning and taking winning, it's not faith, it's manipulation. So tonight we're going to ask the hard question: has hope been our fire or our sedative? Has the spark been built to start a movement, or the song rocked us back to sleep? Because if hope is used to keep us quiet after reclaiming it, redefining it, it might be the hardest act for resistance we have left. But I'm going to go to my panel here. Excuse me for a moment. Uh, and I'm going to introduce everyone. Tonight, we have our distinguished guest, Mr. Don Jackson. Mr. Jackson, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. How you doing, man? Glad to
I'm
see
doing, I'm doing fine. Why don't you give us the audience a little preview of who you are? I know you got a book out there. Tell us a
you.
little bit about
Absolutely,
yourself. Let the panel know.
absolutely. Well, first of all, Mr. King, I really appreciate you having me back on your platform to dialogue with these distinguished guests that you have on here, as well as your audience. I'm Don Jackson, author of the new book, Prodigal: Leaving Church and Finding God, that can be found on all your platforms, wherever you purchase your books, bookstores, or Amazon, Barnes, Books, or Noble. Or you can go to my site, mrdonjackson.com, or the Prodigal Movement .com, and purchase the book. The book is a very, very prolific, easy read. The first half of the book goes over my childhood journey, growing up in a very strict religious household. But of course, it was full of love, full of nurturing, and so forth. It made me to who I am. But at the same time, there was a lot of questions growing up that just couldn't be answered. So I was that one that always Ask questions, the one that always got put out of Sunday school, because I just had a lot of questions and things just didn't make sense. And as you get older, it's kind of like all of us don't need to live in constant dissonance. If you see you right giving us a prescription and this prescription is not working, it's okay to look at it, digest it, and re-examine, just like any other profession, sector of life. If you a doctor, they continue to take classes. If you a lawyer, you got to keep getting recertified. But pastors and so forth, it's like the Bible was it. That is it. There is no more other scholarship. There's no more other perspective. There's no other truth. There's nothing else but that. So I just encourage everyone to take Jesus by the hand, read my book and what's in here, and check it out and see what I'm saying is true. Now, before I give it back to you, the second half goes into what's really happening now, what this look like now, what other resources you should be studying right now. It's real simple. Our ancestors knew all of this. So above, so below. Our scientists know it now. Whether you study the quantum physics aspect of it or other scholarship that's out there, this information is prevalent and available. So I go into metaphysics, what is reality, what is consciousness, and then I close with I wrote letters to the church just like Apostle Paul. I wrote letters to the white church, giving them fucking instructions. I wrote letters to the black church, giving them instructions as well. And then I made it easy for everybody, and I rewrote the 10 Commandments. I was very efficient. I cut it to 7. And that's where we are now. If you read the book, where America, where this world is now, is right here, and I have the solution. So once again, man, thank you. I know I was long-winded, but thank you for having me on your platform.
Well, I was going to give you some time at the end, but that's all right. You got it all in at the beginning, so that's fine. But we also have our statistician here, Mr. Demetrius Burgess. I didn't see it. Okay, I was looking for my Detroit sign there.
Always repping Detroit. We went Negro League baseball today. Just coincidence. I didn't think about it, but pleasure to be here, Mr. Jackson. That was excellent. Wasn't long-winded at all. I think it was I'm looking forward to the read. I'm going to check it out for sure. And he calls me the statistician, and I'll just baseline who I am. I believe in data, and I believe in statistics, and I think with logic and reasoning first. I have emotions, but they fall way behind the data that I have in front of me. That's just how I move. And we've known each other long enough that he can get away with calling me statistician.
Because we travel in different circles. I'm the one that's running out there.
He's leading with the smoke. He's leading with the smoke. I'm behind him calculating the risk.
I'm leading with my chin, and Demetrius is holding me back. So,
yeah,
look, statistics say if you do this, you might not. Well, okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and
just here we are.
And then we have a man of the world here, Mr. LaSalle. I believe it was Mr. LaSalle that actually talked about the last time I had you on the show. Brother LaSalle, how are you doing this evening?
I'm pretty good now. Good to see y'all. Welcome, sir. Appreciate that. Just a quick little introduction about me, man. I have been walking a journey, definitely of faith and self-discovery, and definitely one of purpose, I'll say. But my interest big on history and lived experience. So, but history that's relative, that's relevant, and of course it relates to pretty much everything, Yeah.
All right, and I see Brother Derek is here, but he seems to have left us for a minute. But so we'll kind of get on and we'll catch up with Brother Derek as he gets back into the show here. So we're going to start out. I kind of sent everyone our little cheat sheet here. So, when you hear the phrase weaponization of hope, what does it mean to you first? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it healing? Is it hypocrisy, or both? And I'll start with you, Lasar. What do you think of?
Well, I would say manipulation. If you mean weaponization of hope, I would say manipulation by certain authorities. You know, it's quite separate from my opinion and view of what real hope is, but definitely I would say manipulation, taking advantage of vulnerable people. Yeah.
So, how does hope sustain you, or how did you feel like? Did you feel like life was a cruel joke while institutions profited from your despair? What was hope to you?
Well, since I was blessed enough to actually get answers to questions that I had, um, actually, believe it or not, I was actually homeless during the lockdowns and COVID, and I was about the business of giving hope and encouraging people. I was blessed enough to learn about what real hope is about, which I know we'll get into later. Which is I was forced to see the difference between wishful thinking and real hope. Um, that real anticipation of something that's good and a reasonable expectation of something that's good, something like that. And but certainly I got to see the sense of it being a cruel joke in a sense where certain structures sometimes you can pick up on how people feel or think in like the theory of mind, for example, where basically you can tell like this person that's supposed to be helping me really don't care about me. Basically from there, it's like, okay, you see how positive I am. You see that I'm looking for something good from you, as somebody that's offering services, for example. And I've overheard people, pretty much say things like, we don't really, these people look for something that's good. They really believe that they're going to make something of themselves. And I've heard people in the field actually say like, they don't realize they're going to be stuck in the system. And these people basically who are hoping for things, they're basically made out to be stupid. Like I've heard conversations like that in homelessness resolution field and in other institutions. And I knew the perception of me that regardless, like my brother there, Derek smiles a lot. I love it. I love that brother and welcome in. It's easy for people to say like, hey, that smile, man, that's like, like it's easy to perceive like, what the hell are you smiling about? Like, but hope knows why it smiles. That's all I got to say about that. I knew while I was smiling. I knew exactly why I was smiling, and it was a good reason.
Brother Derek, how are you doing this evening? We didn't get a chance for you to introduce yourselves to the audience.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out why my camera wasn't on. So, yeah, it's good to be here. I'm also an author and a historian, a journalist by training. Formerly was the communications director for Dr. King's organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, back in the 90s, when we pushed for all kind of issues, disparities in sentencing, teach your dollars some sense, keep our money in the Black community and turn it over, fought against gun violence and dope coming into our communities, and certainly we're very involved in work around redistricting, which of course is a huge issue right now, right? As we look at what's happening in Texas and Missouri and other places. And we almost never won, but we maintained hope because we knew we were doing the right thing. We were pursuing justice. And what did Dr. King say? The moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice. And so I think the work that we did way back in the 90s and before us and after us with people like Stacey Abrams led to the election of the two Democratic senators, and not saying they always did everything right, in Georgia, Ossoff and Warnock, at the beginning of a few years ago. And that was the first time we'd had representation on that side of the aisle in this state since the 90s. And so that was some of the culmination of what we did. So my book, I worked then after I left the SCLC, worked for the last 5 presidents. Started with Clinton in 98 through Bush, Obama, Trump, and the first 2 years of Biden. And you see my book, The Longest 4 Years of My Life, and you can probably guess which 4 years that was under Trump 45, and thank God I'm not there again. And my first book, which you can't see, it's called Unsung. It's about 20 of the people we should know about that don't. You go to my website, you'll see about that. And so I draw a parallel, I draw a through line into the gains made in the 60s, the Civil Rights Act of 64, Voting Rights Act of 65, the hard fought gains people sacrificed so much for that are now being clawed back under this administration on steroids. And so I'm glad to be here because you all give me hope, because you are this next generation that are looking for solutions and looking to build coalitions. And that's a beautiful thing.
So, Derek, in politics, when you talk about hope, is it a slogan? It's just something that, that you use in politics. Or is it something that is really sought after?
Well, it can be either, and to be honest, yeah, it can just be something to hype people up. I think you have to, if you're going to be effective, you have to formulate it around and build it based on some commonalities that you are seeking to solve or achieve. We have so many different interests out here, so many different priorities. And I think that to achieve something, you have to have 2 or 3, you can't have 10, but you have to have people willing to sacrifice and work hard to achieve 1 or 2 or 3 things that we can all get on the same page on. And if you don't have that, then it's kind of a pipe dream, because it gets hard, it gets hard, and people tend to get all excited like they did with the justice marches. Everybody was out in the street, white folk, Asian, Latinos, black folk. And then, as time got harder, the COVID got worse and the heat came, and then people tended to drift away. So it has to be something that you're willing to stay on the wall for, regardless of how hard it gets and how tough the opposition is. And so then a whole lot of things like that. So that takes something.
So let's bring some reality in this. Demetrius, what do the stats say, as, hope preached versus, real outcomes, poverty, health, mobility, how do those stats hold up here?
Well, I think when you start looking at hope from a science-based concept, you think about how do we define it, right? And it's kind of tricky. There is, as you talked about earlier, the weaponization. It is about a tool that can empower people. Think about Nelson Mandela in prison for all those years. You don't think he had hope? You don't think there were days where it was literally only hope that carried him? So I you know me, right? I'm going to speak about it like a reality. But if you try and define it, in my mind, it is believing that there is a pathway and believing you have agency. You have the ability to make that happen. People that look like us for years had no reason to truly believe there was a pathway, because there wasn't, right? The pathway was blocked. The pathway was restricted. But statistical correlation, whether it's health, finances, social mobility, absolutely confirm that it's there. There are therapists and psychologists that can tell you that hope is one of the tools to bring people out of despair, addiction, trauma, depression. It is hope that helps carry people. And many times, there's no systemic direct correlation to say out of poverty, for example, but the data definitely reveals that a mindset, an optimistic mindset, can be a predictor for better life outcomes. The people who have hope, who think hopefully, who think positively, and it's not mind over matter. That's not really what I'm talking about. But the idea of, I've told you guys the story of where I'm from. I was born and raised in Flint, Michigan. Growing up, when I grew up, the son of two people who worked at auto plants, because that's what Flint, Michigan is. You grew up in Flint. For a lot of people, it was just, I'm gonna graduate from high school and get a job at GM. That's it. That was the hope. And there was a reason that my parents told me and my two brothers and my sister, you will not do that. We already did that, right? You will not do that. You will do something more. And they had 2 college graduates and 2 military men. No GM workers in the group, right? That was a degree of hope, but my parents laid that pathway. It was there, and they built this hope and belief in us that even though we're growing up in Flint, Michigan, you have agency. You have the ability to go do what it is you want to do. We will show you the pathway. We'll point you down the street. You have the ability to go do it. Health-wise, if you are someone who, like me, I've lost a spouse to a brain tumor. And there was a time where we fought that whole time. All we had was hope. The data didn't support what we were trying to do. And it did. All we had was hope. And for the time we had left, it was hope and faith that carried us. It was our prayers and our belief that we have X amount of time left. And whatever that time is, we got the most out of it, right? But it was hope, because all the data told us, don't even bother fighting this. Don't even bother doing this. We got valuable time because of hope, because of faith. And social mobility, there are legitimate data indicators that say people academically out of school score higher, perform higher in more hopeful environments. And so I believe that there is no true scientific way to say this is how you measure hope. Here's the quantifier. But what I do know is, and everywhere I've looked and everywhere I've seen, it is absolutely a way to, you have to have hope to get it, right? To find out what it is and then go get it. To speak in very simple terms, it almost always requires hope.
Okay. All right. I've sometimes found that hopeless situations make you find hope also. When you talk about some of life's journeys. Mr. Jackson, how do you cut through the false hope and tell the truth without leaving people hopeless?
Well, of course, everyone is on a different spectrum for as their knowledge base or receptive to any information. But you always start with compassion, because first a person has to know that you care before they listen to anything that you have to say. And then once they know that you care, then based on who the audience you're talking to, then you just come with the right approach to try to give them some pointers to what hope is. And everyone has hope. And nowadays, where we are now, you come with compassion, but you got to cut straight to the chase now, because we don't have time to waste where we are right now in society. Speaking, what time is it? 7:30 in America, my time. Right now, the world is in trouble. So we have to, everyone needs to come together and really share their own subjective information of what we all need to do, because we all have a voice.
Brother Masada, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. I like what he just said. We all have a voice, and everybody needs to share their thoughts to try to help out. It's supposed to be a group effort.
So then how do you ensure hope in your music activities, do you hope that it sparks action? Do you hope that your music is an inspiration? I mean, do you
Uh,
write with hope in mind?
well, now it's weird when I answer these questions because before I wrote as a young person, I wrote as just what I was living, and now being around the right people and the right artists and all, we're writing more of for conviction. We're trying to inspire, but not only inspire, change the narrative of what music is supposed to be. Brother LaSalle, I'll give him shots. He sent me the other day. He was listening to something, and he was like, "Yo, I like Rockin' With," and I'm like, a lot of people don't know I have a song called "Rockin' With Dizzy Wright," and in it, I speak about us coming together, all us brother see brother. Who's stopping us if we see each other as we need to see each other? So within the music, but within life itself, I'm trying to live it. I feel if people start seeing that you're not just compassionate, not just honorable, but you're caring for everyone and you hold up to your word, that's what everything's been missing. From politicians to anybody, they sucker us in by telling us they're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Vote for me, I'll do this. And then once voted in, they be like, "Oh, we can't do that." What up, nephew? How you doing? I'll say hi to you. Over family's house right now. Uh, we were talking about the other day. They're my African family. We met and they have love and coming over to eat. But we do it by that because these kids they see us. They call me uncle. I taught at schools today. Went to Head Start. The parents they see you, and I feel like to inspire somebody, they need something to be inspired by. We've seen it all. The only thing we don't have anymore is somebody who's actually sticking by their word and not doing it for the money, not doing it for status, not doing it for anything but besides the benefit for all of us. I can't see on my phone, but what Brother Don Jackson, the way he said it, subjective thoughts. We need everyone's input. That way, it can be a real. If we're gonna say democracy, it can be a real democracy, how it's supposed to be.
All right. Well, tonight we also have Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott is here. He's him and Demetrius are very well
Best friend.
known by
Best
each
friend.
other.
Wonderful guy, Demetrius.
So,
What a wonderful person. Great patriot. Yeah.
so Mr. Scott, he is a very accomplished author. Mr. Scott, why don't you? Everybody else talked about their book tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yours? I know you got a couple of awards and things there.
Yeah. Again, gentlemen, thanks for having me. My name's Anthony Scott. I'm a lifelong resident of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I tell people it's kind of, I was conceived here, but my dad grew up in Chicago, where he went to a high school called DuSable, where he was the homecoming king, and he just loved Chicago, the Bronzeville area. And so somehow he talked my mom into going to Chicago for Christmas. And I was born in Chicago in what they call Ward 51 in Cook County Hospital. That was for the black people. And my dad really wanted to stay there, but mom said, no. She had come up from Birmingham. She looked at Chicago, left Birmingham. I'm not going to the same thing. So that's how I ended up in Minneapolis. And I live, maybe 5 or walking distance to 38th in Chicago, which a lot of people like to call George Floyd Square. And so, I've been in the middle of all of this stuff. And, right now we have a nonprofit, Minnesota's Black Community Project, and we have done a couple books. First book was my dad's book called The Scott Collection, which my dad did in the 50s, 60s, and 70s on the Twin Cities Black community. He also did a first book in Chicago called The Chicago Beacon. This was done in early 1950. So we've got the books we printed. We did a new book, Minnesota's Black Community, the 21st Century, which that's the one we got a national award for. And we do have a documentary that we just finished, and we'll be premiering it October 18th at our main library here in Minneapolis. So that's just a little bit about me.
I saw the trailer. Check out that documentary. Check it out. I already saw the trailer. I think it's going to be nice.
Okay.
What's the name of it?
It's called, what is Minnesota's triumphant Black community,
Yeah.
highlighting Minnesota's triumphant Black community.
So, Mr. Scott, we
Just one more thing about it. Just one more thing about it. Our
go ahead.
producer is Craig Rice, who I grew up with. Craig, we lived in the same neighborhood, we lived across the street. He's the producer of Prince's movie Purple Rain, and he worked with Prince for many years out in Los Angeles. So we're pretty enthused about our little documentary.
Sticking with the our first topic there, Mr. Scott, historically, how has hope been used to delay resistance?
Well, boy, I think historically, I think our resilience has always been there. I think how will we make it this far? How will we get through? I was on a committee about redlining, and these people went all in on about, well, yeah, you couldn't do this. I said, well, everybody I grew up with had houses. Somehow they figured out a way to get around all this foolishness. And so, I think it's the resilience as opposed to, hope is one thing and resistance. But I don't call it necessarily resistance. I call it resilience, that we will find a way. We will take care of our own. We will do our thing. And what's happened is, as we see historically, so many of our places have been, for some reason, destroyed. As soon as we have success somewhere, it just seems to get destroyed. And as soon as we're, then they'll come up with things. And so we've always, for some reason, been a threat. Like I said, me and my kids, we used to sit and watch basketball, when they were little and they played. I said, you know what? There was a time when they wouldn't let Black players play. And they were like, who would want to watch that? Who would want? They couldn't understand that. Bob Cousy dribbling, as Bernie Mac said, dribbling with one hand. Just so this has been the historic thing that why we do our books and how we've seen. Golfing. We did a lot. My dad had a good friend that had a golf tournament here, the Bronze Amateur, and people would come to these tournaments. They would go Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland. And they had the same thing. They had their own circuit. They had their own thing with great, great golfers that weren't allowed just because of who they were. And I think we're seeing a resurgence. I think we are really seeing a resurgence of that. And we have to continue to show our resilience. That's just my position.
Well, I'm going to move on to part two here, where we talk about religion, hope, and control. And I'm going to kind of bring this up. I am that preacher's son, not the preacher's son. So I'm going to try to look at this from the view of the pulpit. And religion or sanctuary. Which one? Sanctuary with chains or religion with the cloud around your head? And Demetrius, I'm going to start with you. Data, church wealth versus community poverty. The preacher got a brand new car. I'm taking the bus to church. I'm putting money in the building fund, but I don't have bread for my kids. You want some more examples, or you got
No, I'm good. I'm just letting you go, right? I think what you're saying sounds easy, but I think it's much more complicated, because I'm gonna use a term called the psychological burden of poverty. And this is where, in my family, with a grandmother who's a pastor, by the way, for the record, the psychological burden of poverty, and I think hope and religion tie in there. There is data that suggests poor societies often exhibit a higher level of religiosity, or whatever term we want to use, right? That's out there. So I'm going to set that aside because, again, grandson of a pastor who is a faithful man believes that hope is important. Now, if you want to talk the business of the church, okay, I can tell you the Church of Australia has a net worth over $20 billion. So does the Church of France. The Vatican is 10 billion. The Church of England is well over 10, $12 billion. Now, in the US, there's another piece to that, right? The church contributes $1 trillion annually to the economy. That's important. We can look at churches and other institutions and how they impact society. Religious organizations are in communities providing services. They're contributing to local economies. They're doing stuff with schools, healthcare, facilities. Anytime we've lost someone in our family, the first person knocking on the door is the pastor, probably with a plate of food, by the way, or a pot of something. There is, for people that look like us, and I can only speak for that group, a degree of the church is part business, but it's that psychological burden of poverty, that psychological connection is also a part of what, as you connect religion, hope, and control. There's another element of it. If you weaponize it to manipulate people and politically to get people to believe that hope is a way to distract them from the nonsense the orange guy's doing, you can use it that way as well. And I mean that with absolutely no respect. I'm not going to say all due respect. Whatever the opposite of all due respect is, that's what I mean. But hope generally in our communities, my experience, there is a business of the church. Absolutely. And it does well. It does well in most cases. But there's also a psychology to what the church gives the community that I think is much more difficult to quantify in dollars or data.
Okay. Mr. Scott, I got to come back to you here. I put you on mute there for a minute. Can you hear me now?
I think we lost.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Scott, examples of where hope has. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm on the wrong one here. How did slaveholders, segregationists, twist scripture to preach obedience?
Well, I guess historically that's the whole thing, is to deny us, any kind of knowledge where we could begin to do for ourselves, and to even have that thought that we could do for ourselves. I mean, this is what they beat down. This is what they beat down. And you look at the history of all these organizations, the church included. I mean, there's a Catholic church that I live 2 blocks away from. Well, earlier I lived a block away from another Catholic church that I never saw anybody go into. And I guess my father-in-law, he had been here since almost the 1920s. He said, well, they built that church because they didn't want the black people to go to their church. So they built another church down there for the black people, Catholics, but because they didn't want them to go to this one. And that's kind of, to me, a microcosm of this whole deal with this country. It's always like, my father-in-law was head of what they call the Johnny Baker VFW post. He was a veteran. He was head of the post, did really great work buying uniforms for teams and all of that. But that's because they didn't want him involved in their post. They didn't want him in their post. And so, I mean, and I think it extends to religion. It extends to politics. It extends to schools. I mean, they didn't want us to go to school. My grandmother used to tell me down in Birmingham or Talladega, that's where she was, before he went to Birmingham. We would go to church, and church didn't have no floor. It was dirt floor. And we was in there dancing in our barefoot. And then the school we went to burned down. And so we had to walk to school and get back. And Daddy said, well, you walk to school, you don't get back till night. You all just stay here and work. You don't have, there wasn't no school for them. But these are all the barriers that, to me, leads to our getting over The resilience. The resilience is the thing that just continues to come through me, that everything is just so segregated till historically. Couldn't play baseball. Give me a break. So they built their own stadiums. They had their own teams. They had their own leagues. But they were so successful. They said, "Well, wait a minute. We got to have them come over here." So where does religion play in that? I think religion is just as segregated as anything else in this world. I think it's just how was it used? I think it was tried to use, but I think we used it to give symbols, to give songs, to give words, to give things that would help us get through this. So that's, growing up in the church myself, my mom was a pianist, singer, really talented. And that was a good, it was a good thing. They were orderly. A lot of those people came up from the South. They didn't have high education. They all worked, came to church, looked good, all had jobs, all did stuff for their families. Most of them, but for the most part, it was that they tried, that they continued to show their resilience. They weren't going to accept, all this segregation stuff. So religion, boy, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Only because I believe the Bible is one of the greatest history books, because it's written by people that lived before us. All the things that we're going through in life now, they all went through that. And they were able to write a lot of this stuff down without computers, without any of this stuff. But when you read some of the scripture, I'm not that well versed, but it's really retelling things that we're actually going through now. And it's just, to me, it's a great history book, whether you believe, certain parts.
Okay. Derek, how does religion and politics partner to weaponize hope today?
Well, I think that that's primarily done, frankly, from the right, because they're the party that wears Christ on their sleeve and everywhere. Everything is, although often they are convoluting the Bible and twisting the words. It's like welcome the stranger is one of the principles that Christ talked about, and for the right, though, the stranger has to be, it certainly ain't going to be Latinos. It certainly ain't going to be people from Africa and the Caribbean, and it's going to be white Europeans. That's who they want to welcome. So I'm saying that's a weaponization of the scripture. I think that for the most part, people on the left, I'm not saying that people on the left aren't believers or anything, but I don't think that that's the principle behind their philosophy and their attempts to engage people. I think that people on the right largely use religion and politics. They weaponize it by bringing about fear of the other, fear of people that don't look like them, that they're afraid are going to come in and take over the country. As Demetrius will tell you, roughly 2042, we're supposed to become a majority country. And so that fear is used to weaponize religion, saying that if we don't do this, if we don't do that, those people are going to come in here and take over this country. And that's part of the browning of America. It won't be a white-led, Christian-based entity any longer.
Masada, Mr. Scott, you have to put your hand over your ears here, because I'm going to say a couple words that you really do not understand or don't like, and we're going to talk about hip hop and
Oh, Lord.
so Sada, gospel and hip hop roots.
Yes.
How do you look at this? Do you look at this like freedom, or do you look at it as control?
Uh, Oppression. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. In music, they talk about having Jesus pieces. I'm gonna send you to God. You go pray to your God. Pray to God. My homie died. I just went and shot somebody. I'm gonna send you to your Lord. Um, religion is oppression for me. It's needed because without it, a lot of people, a lot of people would be out killing and doing a lot of things without morals. Um, my problem with everything is that it is history. A lot of stuff did happen, but a lot of stuff got rewritten. Um, and if it was done right, if we saw a lot of the pastors and them doing it right, it would be worth it. Right now, when I say I'm in my family's house, they're from Kenya. They have an elder village. They do it right. They take care of the whole village. You can come to them for anything. They're not getting ties all the time. I come from Mississippi. When I say that, I know churches that are 4 or 5 blocks long. Whenever I take somebody from California or somewhere else and they think they see big buildings, come see a Southern church. That's when you see a big building, 4 or 5 blocks long. And when you're talking about the pastor, I think about a Kanye West right now. He's our ordained pastor somewhere. They're making music, and everybody's following about praying to God. Even with I talk about a Tupac a lot. Only God can judge me. They make songs about it. They do everything that the Bible says don't do that I've read. I studied a lot of religions, from the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, just the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, is as it is in English. And with music, it's oppression. They use religion to oppress us. They give you false idols and false hope. They study telling you that when Jesus came, he told you to live like this and to actually live this way and not make him an idol. But everybody says in Jesus, and he says this in my Father. Everybody wears a cross. They say, "Don't make me an idol." Everything that it says don't do, they do. And music is the biggest weapon with our people with anything. And religion is the biggest divider because it's not only black and white, it's Catholic, you got Catholicism, you got Hebrewism, you got Islamic, you got so many religions, and they all say the same thing, and nobody follows it. So in music, you have Islamic rappers talking against Christian rappers. You got Christian rappers praising a Charlie Kirk or a Trump, and all of this just blows my mind, brother. It really does, because music it trains you. That's why we learn the ABCs. That's why we learn different things with singing, because music is a rhythm that is used to learn. And all we done with that, with the religion part, is we made it a mockery. It's oppression and a mockery.
Tell us how you really feel, Messiah. Uh,
So
brother,
listen, I'm saying that, and I'm in my people's home, and I feel bad because I'm in a home of the Lord has shown them good things and done good things, and I'm all for it. And like I said, I'm with the elder village and everything. It's just you don't have me on here if you don't want my words, and I did it without cursing, so I'm kind of proud of myself right now. I did it really good.
hey, brother, hey, that's why the show is here for people to express their opinions, and I'm so glad that I don't get paid that where I have to listen to somebody else's opinion. This is my show, and say express yourself, brother. I'm good with it. Brother Lassalle, did you find churches offered you a sanctuary, or were they gatekeepers trying to keep you in your place?
Yeah, so I moved through different churches. We'll say when I was home, I was in a couple of different shelters, and uh, you got to give it to them. Some churches doubled as homeless shelters, and then you have organizations you probably know about Father Joe's in San Diego. That was one I was in there. Um, So, and those are just examples. You have Path of Life in Riverside County. They offered sanctuary for sure. I mean, it's in their mission statement. It's supposed to be kind of what they do. But also, there was certainly gatekeeping going on too, as far as offering services, um, in other ways, in other locations. In other words, it would seem like the churches that offered assistance, they shone brightly, often in the context of other churches, really like people going through different churches and different groups and not really getting assistance, and oftentimes being judged, being mistreated. And I got to see this, and as a believer myself, it was very heartbreaking because uh, I got to see different aspects of corruption. I actually even knew a person it was a business plan for this person. Hey, let's make this big old, just a great business plan. Let's make an apartment. Let's, the government pays you this many dollars per bed. And me knowing this person, how this individual is, it's like, oh my gosh. And I've seen it repeated like this. It's like for real, a hustle to where people are gatekeeping if you don't really do what they want type of thing. I've seen it a little too much. But I don't let them kind of steal the shine in my head. It needs to be dealt with. But I like to think about those folks who were exemplary. And I like to remember them when I'm actually serving people, you know. So both happen, but it's probably a numbers game, which how many are sanctuaries in the fullest sense and gatekeepers where it's more about power. You do what I want, and then I may let you know what you need to know or help you in some way that you need to be helped. So, yeah.
Yeah. I found that to be the case in a lot of the halfway houses. There are certain stipulations, and I'm not talking about just, like, we're not talking about, uh, you know, societal laws, but in order for you to go through this program, you must join such and such, you must do this, you must do that. And sometimes that is attached to programs. Uh, Brother Jackson, um, there's a little quote here. They found you, oh, excuse me, they feed you a dream, but starve your reality. How do we deal with that without killing faith?
That's a good question, man. Well, if you know they're selling you a dream, then you should call it out.
Well, I mean, I mean, some say it's only going to be 100,000 that's going to have that, and then some say,
They
you
say a
go.
whole lot, and I heard it all my life. Once again, I grew up as a PK kid. I was born into it, like they said. I grew up in the Church of God in Christ. You had to be born in it. And I've seen it all. I've seen the front side. I've seen behind the scenes side. And systems work, whether they're meant for right or wrong. Systems just work, period. And the church has a system. And that system work, it's built to keep you coming back. You're a wretch undone. You got to come in. I got to beat you on the head. I got to pump you up, then beat you back down so you can come back on Wednesday. Same cycle, give offerings. So that system work. It's who's running those systems depend on if that ministry is going to be successful or not. Now, church still have a place, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Now, give you not, like the brother said, they do offer a lot of social services. I'm with that. But until they change their theology in 2025, I can't deal with it. It's the wrong recipe. It's the wrong recipe for this season. The game has changed. You have to play. You have to know the rule first, who your opponent is, and what rules your opponent playing with. And they're playing a different game, but they're playing the same game. And so long we're going to continue on our knees thinking Jesus is getting ready to save us or come rapture us before they kill us, then it's a losing battle. That is dead. We started praise houses for this shit. And we turned them into schools, and we all know the story how churches became, black church became. We didn't have a fucking choice, man. We were slaves. But we were strategizing. We came and we took what we could, and this is what it came out to be. Now, I'm like this brother, I don't knock anyone's religion, what you believe. I believe we all have a voice to say. We all have pointed. We all point to the same thing. All religions are pointing to the same thing. It's just we get tied up in the dogmas and so forth, where we get led astray and so forth and so on. But at the end of the day, only one thing is happening, and that is consciousness experiencing himself. Now, I don't fret no more like I used to, because the genie being had left out of the bottle. I know there's only one thing happening. There's spirit. I'm spirit, you're spirit, James, Demetrius, and all the rest of the brothers. We are the same source. We are consciousness, God, whatever higher power you subscribe to or want to call it, linguistically speaking, is the same thing, the same source. It's like God playing chess on different timelines with himself. There is nowhere else to go. Brothers say he speak about facts and scientific. Well, science has already proven there won Nobel Peace Prize that upon observing matter, 99% is empty space. There is no thing happening. There is only now. You can't take me back to yesterday. You can bring a memory of where that memory going to happen. Now, you can fret about the future. We can talk about it, but when it's going to happen now. So once you come out of the physical and jump into the quantum, meaning no locality where no time and space is, then that's all there is. Everything else is God consciousness experience himself. It's kind of like this, and I'll shut up. You have the ocean. The ocean has waves. The waves bubble up. They have bubbles. And them bubbles are just popping. That's all of us. We think we're separated from source, just doing our thing. But yet, everything in that drop is in that ocean. And we forget it because we are able to operate. And we think we're a separate self, but we're the same source. But when that bubble pops, it falls back into that wave falls back in that ocean, and it's nothing but water. We're not form. Anything that has a name on the form, bruh, ain't you. We are source. So we have to come with a different story and really get to the nitty-gritty and quit saying, not say bragging about a religion or subscribing to religion, but just figure out what reality is first. Then go back and research your Bible and all the other scholarships that you're studying, and then you can get a different perspective. We can end all the wars today if we understood this one thing. If I harm you, I harm myself. If I help you, I'm helping myself. Why? Because we are the same source. And when this body quit metabolizing, all the experience this soul has experienced just seeds it back into nature. Remember the water, the hole. It collapses into another wave and continues to experience again. There is nowhere else to go. This is it. So you can live a successful life without all the dogmas. You can have peace in the middle of the storm. Everything could be going around like it's going around now. You can project your own reality through mind-heart coherence. Yes. And still have one foot in the quantum and one reality. And then play the game, but you know what you're playing. You know at the end of the day, nothing is happening. And you can know that because when I had my NED experience, as I talk about in my book, I didn't die. That let the genie out the bottle. So I had to go study some more scholarship and do some more introspection to see what this is all about. And as I began to study and study, it just began to be more revealed, the synchronicities and so forth, and listen to other scholarship. But it's all subjective at the end of the day. We all have our own subjective because we are all sourced having our own personal experience. But it's only one thing happening there. That is it. So if that answers your question, I don't know, but I wanted to put all that in there, give you a different perspective.
That's your perspective, and that's what you're here for. That's why we want to hear your perspective. If hope has been weaponized, Mr. Jackson, how do we reclaim it? If I mean, what? How do we, practice reclaiming hope if it is a weapon? How do we
Well,
turn
it
it?
is a weapon, and depending on who's weaponizing it, whether you're talking about the church or what have you. But once again, if it to me, I can only give my own subjective opinion. Individually, we all need to do more introspection. Start going within, because whether you want to call it the Holy Spirit, the intuition, or whatever you want to label it, we all got it. It is you. So we have to learn not to start listening to outside sources and go within. If you're going to put your whole precious little life that you got on this little rock for the time you got, and you're going to listen to a book, a Bible, somebody else, and you can't go within, how wretched undone are you? How weaponized they just have took your brain. If you can't re-examine this stuff in 2025 with all the scholarship and today's technology, if you want to research, you can research until the chickens come home. And it's plenty scholarship that's going to get you to thinking, asking questions. It never stops. There's plenty to learn. Consciousness ain't got nothing to do but experience, so it's going to keep experiencing. So relax.
Yeah.
Know that all is well. When this is over, it don't stop, and everybody is okay. There is no hell you can send nobody to, and heaven is a state. I'm there right now. You are too. We are too. Where else we gonna go? We're one, bruh.
I got to interject with you real quick. I'm a Southern Baptist. I had to come in because I'm a Southern Baptist. I wanted to tell people that I was raised in a church where you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on your own. You better be there in Sunday school. You better be there at home. Your parents will tell you and all that. But when I read it, I say basic instructions before leaving earth like that, when you say go within and we're all one soul, you said everything I learned on my own just from reading it. Just from reading it and trying to apply it, going inside myself. People were like, you think you're this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm just like you, but what did y'all miss what I missed? Because I got it. Where did y'all miss it at? You have to do it from within yourself, and we all are one soul. I just had to say that because I needed to say that, brothers. Yeah, I messed with you on that. And so thank you for saying that.
I'm gonna bring you back there, Masada. Lasal, what does real hope feel like after being, living on the rock bottom?
It feels like, well, say on the one sense, I know the context of the question, it relates originally to having been on the streets and then being housed. For me, since I experienced something much, much better, I interpret that in a different way. So a lot of people, when I talk to them, they're like, oh, you used to be homeless here, you came out here like homeless, oh man, look at you now. I'm like, that doesn't, the idea of being housed, I'm grateful for, me working hard and getting past a certain point. But thankfully, I was cultivated much more than that to be grateful for something much more. And I identify with a lot with what the brother spoke about. I think of the gentleman, I think his name is Alan Watts, was one person. He almost used that exact analogy of the ocean. You're basically, you can be a wave, but you're the same ocean. It's just you're experiencing your consciousness experiencing itself. Um, and then you think of Hegel. He did a lot of work on that, and then of course bringing it back to Africa, you have concepts like Ubuntu. Ubuntu, Ubuntu, person is a person through people, which have that sense of connectedness in it, that whole global unity to where you're not supposed to sin against that. You are not to, you violate somebody, you violate yourself. You just ain't realized it yet. And I definitely subscribe to a lot of Ubuntu. I actually love that belief system, about our interconnectedness. And I believe Africa, also hold more to that belief system. And I believe that we can demonstrate that as people who come from Africa and who are made up of different tribes and ethnicities inside of us. But I would say before I even became homeless, I experienced something 20 years ago. And I'm not going to go into complete detail because I already had a lot of time taken on this particular part. But what hope looks like after living rock bottom. Rock bottom for me wasn't being homeless. Rock bottom was me losing my mind. 20 years ago, actually over 20 years ago now. I had things going on regarding feelings of loneliness. I thought I was just the most worthless thing on earth, pretty much. If I was in a room with all of you, I would have felt like I didn't deserve to be in the room. That's how bad it was. Social anxiety. I had about 12 psychological, emotional things going on. Internalized racism. I had a lot of that just smashing me. And then it really hit me that I felt lonely. Like I couldn't get in a relationship with a woman. Wasn't close to my mother in an intimate, emotional kind of way. And that turned into anger to some degree. And I eventually got hospitalized, And what I found out was while I was losing my mind, I love this freaking question, man. While I was losing my mind, what I hoped in before was being torn apart and broken down. It was like a new operating system was being downloaded. The other one was being smashed because it didn't work. I graduated, I would say. Not that it's like it was worthless, but no, you build on it. That foundation needed to be shattered though, and remnants of it, thankfully I remember it. Long story short, expectations, beliefs, stuff like that. When you get back to the idea of hope, the purpose of it, strengthening somebody, dragging you along in a certain way to where it feels like, for some people, unfortunately, some of our people, hope was a noose, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, our men ended up, hung by a noose by hoping at a certain time. That needs to be spoken about. The times that we believed in a higher power, we'll say, and some people believed in themselves, believed in whatever, and it was disappointed. History needs to examine that, and we need to do something about that, for one. But in my case, I had so many disappointments, and then I flunked high school, 12th grade. Everything seemed to come crashing down, and I wake up, I'm coming to in a psych ward, and I'm like, man, I didn't really get to the bottom, It's like I'm looking around, people like slobbering, and that was, however, the beginning of me coming alive. It was real life for me to discover the medication. All it did was make me sleepy. They call it booty juice. They put a little shot in you in the backside and you like that. But for that time and during that time and even afterwards, I felt that something was reaching out to me. It was within me, but also outside of me. It was something much, much bigger than me, where I actually had expectations that was destroyed. I had beliefs that was destroyed. And I began to walk like as if on water, learning and understanding and welcoming things. New age. Some people would actually say like, "Hey, that was actually you calling you." Uh, I just know that my beliefs at the time was not helping me. I got called by something that was definitely outside of me, but calling through me as well to persevere. And I got taught things that I'm very, very grateful for. And I was also taught about how I was dead. Um, and so I love stories about near-death experiences and the perspective that it gains on having a stronger life, we'll say. Slightly different perspective as far as where that source is, but I still love the mentality of I'm here for a reason. A lot of stuff you fret about, you ain't got to fret about no more. You know, there's something bigger, and then that immediately should translate to better joy, fulfillment, and hope. So that's what hope looks like, coming from rock bottom, being stronger.
Very interesting. A very interesting perspective there. Glad you glad you felt that you could share that among us brothers. I appreciate that. Masada, how do you turn hope uh, into art that provokes movement and not pacification?
Um, I really don't know because it seems like when we talk about that, let's talk about a big name that happened over this summer, Kendrick. They not like us. Does anybody on this panel not know that song or know what I'm talking about? Y'all watch football. Y'all saw the Super Bowl halftime show. Can y'all hear me? No,
Yes.
nobody know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. They
Yeah.
not like us. Before I discuss that, let me get back to Brother LaSalle. I wanted to say this, my brother. You've never been alone, and you're the breakdowns. I'm almost had those, except when I'm around family like this, or when I'm in groups like this, and I hear Don talking, or even Demetrius over there ain't saying nothing to me. We ain't beat tonight, but I still see you over there, Demetrius.
Not yet.
When I'm
Not yet.
not
But
yet. When I'm
we
in
got plenty
rooms
of
like
time.
this, y'all have given me hope because I felt alone and I felt like not smart but very dumb because I'm like it should be so simple to be able to live. It says do this, but nobody's doing it. So with the music, getting back to not like us, that everything is pacification because we'll get really excited and then nothing happens. We've had Michael Jackson, the Men in the Mirror, we've had all kind of songs from Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Tupac, and the latest one is Kendrick Lamar. Not like us. Big spread hit around the world for black people. And now where's it at? What's happening? Back to fighting each other. It ain't that we ain't like they not like us. Now we not even like us because we don't know who we are. And if we knew who we are, we would question things that they give us while they're beating us and telling us that this person that they call their God is going to save us that looks like them and not like us. And no matter what religion you're talking. And when I was a little kid, thinking about music, thinking about the Fight the Power songs, thinking about the Revolution songs, thinking it's going to go somewhere. And then growing up and saying that I'm on the fourth floor, and for 40 years, ain't nothing changed. It's a fad nowadays. Everything is goes quick, and so I'm like, when will we go back to us and really question when will it stop? Because I hear people say you're a god, I'm a god, black gods, black kings, black queens, black this, black that, black blah 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 blah, all day. And then when they walk by me, they look at me like a igga, and I be like, "Yo, what happened to all this? What happened to this stuff you were just talking with this song? They not like us. They not like us. Should have brought us all together because it was saying they not like us, and yet we still can't be like us because we don't know who we are. So with the music, it can do it, but it can't do it while they're controlling us. When my brother here, he don't know, brother, I'm the best in here. Um, you're talking like I was talking. You're talking about they had the Negro leagues and all that. I'm talking about why won't they do that now? Why won't they walk away and do it now? Kaepernick was one of my favorite players right now, and people would talk crap about him, do all this, but ain't nobody walking away from the NFL now. Why not? Nobody's taking their music and going to make these other record labels and doing it on their own now. And yet we're the puns. We're the it's weird. We're the stars, we're the gods, and we're the puns all in the same sense. And I don't understand that because if I don't even want to name athletes, but if anybody has to walk away, musicians, athletes, anybody, if they just walk away, who people gonna listen to? Who people gonna go watch? So then why isn't it not happening? And that's always the question for me with music or anything else. It can happen, but
Well,
why isn't it happening? And because nobody cares, honestly. And I hate to feel like that, but nobody cares.
well, that's why my boy up here, Prince, he went to school with us. He graduated from school with my sister. That's why he put that symbol on his thing. He said, because what it is it's modern day slavery. And if you say that, they'll say, well, oh, they're getting millions of dollars. How in the world can they be? Well, but we don't own no teams. We don't own no TV stations. We don't
You
own no,
don't you don't own Motown anymore either.
no, and we don't own the
Yo, here go
regional.
one for y'all with the church.
We don't own the
Kirk
regional
Franklin.
things. The regional things, the
Kirk Franklin,
Motown,
churches.
the Philadelphia story. We don't own those things that we had in different regions of the country, which made different types of music. Because in there, different types of growing up and experiences that they could express themselves. And we can't do that now. Everything sounds the same. Everything pretty much. I mean, these people sing. My granddaughter was over here watching some of her cartoons that she used to listen to on the radio. And then she saw the actual people singing, and she's like, I didn't know they was white, because they auto-tune their voice to make them sound different. So these are the kind of things that we're up against now. It's a whole other, to me, I mean, I don't want to get off track from what you're talking about, brothers, but it just seems to be it's a whole other assault, in a way of assaulting us that is ratcheted up from where we were. It was bad coming up, but we were able to find a way. But now that it's ratcheted up so much, it's real difficult. We don't even, a show like this is so great for me with brothers around the country that we can talk about these things. I mean, they used to do that here in the city. They had private clubs. They had clubs. They had things where the brothers and sisters could get together and do their thing, and feel like they're somebody, and show this and share it to the kids. But now it just seems to be, everything just seems to be so disjointed now. It just doesn't seem to be the cohesion. You won't see even like a Black Panther Party. I mean, they got together and they were, come on now, they were a force. There were so many things that we had that was a force coming up that led to these changes. And it just seems to be so watered down now. And maybe that's just an opinion.
But I'm gonna give you. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to give you an example of what you're talking about there, Mr. Scott. There was a chapter of the Black Panther Party that was trying to purchase a van, and they put up a GoFundMe for it. It was a 15-passenger van. The price was $3,500. You know how much they raised? $75. $75. Okay. Anyway, let's kind of go on here before I get up on my soapbox here. Derek, how do we? Let's see. How do we put this? Okay. How do we bring hope into policy, and not just promises?
Now, I kind of go back to where I was before, and I'll give a few specific answers. And that is, there has to be something that we're willing to sacrifice for, and not sacrifice for 6 months. Sometimes not sacrifice for 6 years. Sometimes be willing to sacrifice for a lifetime, and sometimes realizing we aren't going to be the beneficiaries of what we give up to get. And I'll give you an example. In 1954, the Topeka versus Board of Brown versus Topeka Board of Education. That was about breaking separate but equal schools, because we know the reality of it. Those schools were not equal. Now, there was some downside to that, because We lost a lot of great Black teachers, and we lost the community that we had when our teachers taught us who we were. And we don't, so mixed bag there, but, and then we know that a lot of white schools just shut down. They said, hey, we're going to go and start our own private schools, and you Negroes just aren't going to have school for a while. But it did in some ways equal the playing field. Okay, you're talking about in 1964, the Civil Rights Act. What was that about? That was about being able to buy a house in any community you could afford, sitting at a lunch counter, staying in a hotel, all of that, and people died because of that. But people were able to get on the same page, be spat upon and beaten and jailed, integrated schools and the beaches in St. Augustine. But it was important enough for them to get on board for that. The Voting Rights Act, the 65. Same thing, people died, white and Black people. James Reed, Jonathan Daniels, 2 white ministers in Selma that were killed for our right to vote, not to mention the Black people, like Viola Liuzzo, another white person. So, that was something people were willing to sacrifice for. I think that part of the issue now, and think about Curt Flood in 1969, he established free agency in baseball, and he got banned out of the league because of it, just like Kaepernick. But they were willing to stand on that because they knew that they were going to pay a price for it. I don't know how much of that we have anymore. Yeah, I'm not saying there's nobody willing to do it. Look at that, as my brother always says. Hey, look at Malcolm, look at Martin. I think that today class struggle is much more vibrant than the Black and the white issue in our community. We have we're divided so many different ways. It's hard to figure out what we can actually come together around. And that's the issue. If we have to find something that we will all agree on, or at least enough of us to make a difference. And it's hard to do that.
You're right. I have the input on that. My music background, people don't know. I've been in rooms with some really big name artists and all. And I remember this one time at a party, we're there and we're smoking. We smoke, so we're smoking. And they wanted to talk serious. And it was around the time, I want to say it was right after George Floyd or something. We were talking about stuff like that. And they made a point that you were making right now, Derek. They said, I got to care about my family. We can't. They cared. They actually cared. I'm not gonna take it from them. They cared. Rest up. But they told me that how are we gonna get all the other people from caring about their family, because it's all about their family. And so what they did was take us from a family unit and a village to individuality. So now everybody is, my family's living good. That's what happened when you saw Kaepernick kneel. I had players and people saying that I'm not going to take a pay cut for that, but for other people. And I'm like, yo, if you want a new contract, you sit out for a whole year. So you'll sell out for money. That's what we call sell your soul. We selling each other out for money nowadays. That's the difference between when I mentioned Malcolm and Martin and all them brothers that did it, Huey and them, Fred Hampton. They all died without caring about status and money. Nowadays, you can't get anybody because they'll cancel them. And they're canceling you. You got contracts for 40 million 5 times, 6 times. You've been playing for 20 years. Why won't you stand up now? Why don't you care about everybody else? And it's because the new currency, the new slavery is currency, economics, the new disparity. When people think it's the new racism, they think it's black and white. No, you got Black people that are racist because I'm not around that nigga because he don't got no money. And so now it's a hierarchy of currency. And we all know this. And the only way we're all going to stop that is we say the dollar means nothing now. And who's really going to do that? Because who's going to give up their nice luxury house so you can have something with them?
Hey, Demetrius, what measurable changes proves that hope is real?
It's probably difficult to measure. I don't have any doubt personally. Like, to me, my friend Mr. Solomon is an example tonight of hope being real. There's nothing, and I have had my share of experiences. Like I said, I spent months battling a brain tumor with my wife. But when I listen to this man tell the story, and I have defined with you guys what I think hope means, what I think it means to me, if you can measure it, it is about pathway and agency. And this man decided there is a path for me to get out. And Mr. Jackson, he did it right now. When right now was right now for him, he decided, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to live like this. There is a path for me out of here. And he knew, he believed he had the agency to change it. And he did. That's all it is to me. 7 men for the last hour and 25 minutes have defined hope. My friend, Mr. Scott, said the most impactful word of the night to me, resilience. There's 7 men on this call that represent resilience. Me and Masada don't have real beef. I get everything that man is saying. Do I take a different approach to it? Yeah. How do I do it? I want to inspire people. I'm going to talk to somebody tomorrow, like I talked to somebody today, and I'm going to talk to them about you can be more resilient through hope. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve through hope. I am not hoping that some of these athletes and artists are ever going to do. I'm not waiting for them. I'm going to talk to Mr. Solomon. I'm going to talk to Mr. Scott tomorrow night, and we're going to go at each other because we love it. And then when it's all said and done, we're still friends. That's how it is. Mr. Jackson, I'm getting that book. I've already ordered Derek's book, and I'm waiting for it. As soon as it gets here, I'm reading it. That's how we can do it right now, like Mr. Jackson said. Everything you said about Malcolm, Martin, true stuff. Everything he talked about, what we can do in the future, even me, what I'm going to do tomorrow, true stuff. Right now. Right now, I'm going to call my brother after we're done, and I'm going to tell him about Mr. Solomon's story. That's what I'm
Well, right now, we're about to have prime real beef, brother. I got something to say to you on this. How long do we got to be resilient? If I'm in my if I just turned 40, y'all are in the 60s and all, how long we got to be resilient? When do we stop being resilient?
We are black. We are black men. We will never not have to be resilient. We will never not have to be resilient. That's just the way it is. And
I'm living proof of that.
But somebody just spoke about it, and we're not doing it for us. We're doing it for our future generations. I don't want my seeds to have to be resilient no more. I'm tired of hearing that rhetoric. I don't want my seeds to be resilient.
Well, no, I fully expect my son to be resilient. He better be resilient.
He will be. But why do we still have to be resilient though? Why can't we just be comfortable? I want to wake up one day. You know what I told my wife one day? I was like, damn, man. I said, you know what? I do understand man, they hate us, but how do they hate us when I got to wake up feeling like, why I got to tell my son about the police? Why I got to tell my son about this? Why I got to tell this? Why can't I wake up and feel like a white man one day and feel like, damn, the world's mine because it is mine?
Never not in a million years. I would never want to be that entitled. I wake up every day thanking God I was born a black man. Every time I'm sitting in a meeting and I'm the only one in there, I know. Yeah. We all know I'm the only one in there.
Oh no, it's not feeling it. Listen, I don't want to feel like a white dude. I don't want that entitlement. I want to be able to walk outside without feeling like I got to worry about somebody, even my own kind, judging me and attacking me. That's all I care about. Okay. Other than that, trust me, I was born the best I can be. I'm 59% Nigerian and 41% the rest of the world. I am happy to say I'm African. That American stuff, all that other stuff, nah, listen, I'm a 6'4" black man. I'm one of the best things you can be in the world. I don't care what they want to tell you and what they say. The only thing I say about waking up and going outside feeling white is knowing that I don't got to worry about cops. Knowing that I can have a cop ride by me and I can give them the finger and don't worry about being a George Floyd and y'all having to talk about helping me.
I need my fingers for other stuff. I need my fingers. We're talking about weaponizing hope. The weapon is how it's wielded. A knife can be a weapon, and a knife can also cut my steak. Right?
Yes.
It is about who's wielding it, right? I choose to wield hope positively. I choose to wield hope in the way that I can. And that comes from my faith. That comes from Mary and Matt. I talk about them every call, guys. I'm sorry. But that is where it comes from. I will tell people the story about my friend, Mr. Solomon. He has not given me permission, but I hope he texts me afterwards and say, go for it. Because that's
the
that is the way. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm trying to show him respect. Call him Mr. Solomon. You're right.
All right. I'm sorry.
Know I'm talking about Oakland. I'm talking about LaSalle. That is a weapon of hope. I can tell somebody his story tomorrow. Somebody in despair. Somebody battling depression. a type 2 diabetic like myself who can't get their blood sugar under control, I can tell them, here are ways we can do it. And that pathway to get there and the belief that you can go get it. That's all hope is to me. It's two things. And 7 dudes on this call right now represent it. And we can do whatever we want with it, like Mr. Jackson said, right now, today.
We need your type of inspiration for people who will listen to you. We need my type of inspiration for people who are hotheads and want to listen to me. We need Demetrius. Derek. We need Dunn. We need all of us to get everybody to listen to the other ones.
Let's
get Mr. Scott in. Mr. Scott, what do you think about this? What the other gentleman did?
Well, my mom was born and raised. My mom was born and raised in Birmingham. Okay, they came up here in 1950, and we used to watch TV, and we would see them putting hoses on the brothers, putting the dogs on the brothers. And she said, yeah, we got away from that. And then my mom would tell me, she went to a school called Parker High School. Now, the principal at Parker was Colin Powell's father-in-law. And Colin Powell's wife taught at Parker. And her father before, her grandfather before that was the principal at Parker. I mean, this was a wonderful school. I mean, they said segregated and all, but, she used to tell us about, we down south and we go to the movie and we got to sit up in the balcony and it's nasty up there and the water fountains didn't work. And so she's telling me and my brother this, and we're so mad, we're ready to just go out and beat up white people. We're ready to just go outside. How in the world you treat my mother like that? But she would say, they don't know. They don't. We had the best teachers. We had the best, we had a great life down there going to school with those teachers, really cared about us. We went to school together. We went to church together. And so, again, it comes back to my point of the resilience. I mean, I just think we have to just be above this. I mean, she just said, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. She inspired me. My dad inspired all of us. My sister's a doctor. Okay, I have a master's degree, honored as a distinguished alumni at my school as a master. My brother's a retired coach. He played baseball at Alabama State. Came back and coached at Minneapolis Central High School where Prince went to school with my sister. I mean, so we have to get around this stuff. I mean, they don't like us. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Why would you want a red line? Because you don't want us to live by you? Well, what if we can afford it and buy it? Why is that such a problem? You don't want us to go to this school. You don't want us to play sports. You don't think we can play baseball. You don't think Josh Gibson and Satchel can play? I mean, what kind of foolishness is that? So they're wrong. Their whole aspect of it is wrong. And we have to just know that. We have to know that that's wrong. And that we're as good as we want to be, that we can compete with anybody in this world. And that's what even they said in their constitutions. Oh, all men are created equal. Yeah, but women can't do anything. They couldn't vote. We can't vote. We can't. But yeah, it's just a thing of being in charge and not wanting us to get our piece of the action. And we're still fighting for that. We are still fighting for that. We will be. In my lifetime, will I see an owner of a football team? Will I see that? Will I see, my dad said he would never see a black president. He said he couldn't believe it. Yeah. He could not believe it. He said, wow, we really, this is a start of something. And so it should be a start of something, but
I gotta kind of interject something here, and this is once again why my damn shows always run open. But Masada, I'm kind of with you here. When I was in Vietnam, and we had got our ass kicked real good, and we're coming back all sweaty and tired and bloody and shit. The first thing our commander was telling us was how resilient we were. When I was in the penitentiary, the first thing the counselors would tell you, well, you can do that time because you're resilient, and when you get out, you'll do better. I'm kind of like you, Masada. Like resilience, my ass. When do I get a piece of the pie? So I mean, maybe
Can I
It
speak to
goes
that?
back to it goes back to religion. It goes back to keep hoping and keep praying. Because one day you keep hoping and keep praying, you're gonna be like Daniel and let out the lions. Then you're gonna be like Moses and let out the promised land. Nobody told y'all that Moses fled from his own land and they weren't our people. Nobody told y'all that those people that they're talking about, who was the king and
Moses wasn't
pharaohs,
even
are us.
alive in the promised land. And I feel like Moses. Promised land. What the hell? Like I want to live now. Give me, I want my cake. I want, I want to be able to send my kids to whatever goddamn school I want.
Cool.
You know,
Well, I want to say a quick thing.
foolishly enough, Derek, I thought after the Civil Rights Act was passed and the Voting Rights Act, I thought, what do you mean I can't vote? What do you mean you read? I thought the struggle was over.
He who fails to remember their history is doomed to repeat it.
There you go.
We're going
There
back,
you go.
brother. We're going
There
back.
you go. There you go. And I want to say a quick thing, about church. Now, my mom played piano. I was in church all the way, through school. And so then I played bass with the Sounds of Blackness. I was in that group for years. They're all my good buddies. So now I'm at a church called Church of the Open Door. And it's interesting going into a church now because I see several people come in, tattoos. I see some brothers come in there, older gentlemen with these suits. I know they was pimps or something before. I know it. I mean, they walk like that. They got the hat. They got the suits on. And they just, but they're trying to make this change. I mean, they're trying to, and it's really something to see. You see the kids get involved and do something. You see something where, again, do we get out of this thing on an individual basis? Can we get out of? No, we can't do that. We have to rely on others to get through this thing. I mean, I really believe that. And when I see these brothers and with the shiny suits, the pointed shoes, and I just take my hats off to them. I just say, they have lived life, and they know what time it is now as you get older. And so I have the utmost respect for them as they come in. We talk to each other and throw our fists up, because we're still gonna make a way for ourselves and our families until we can't.
Derek, any thoughts?
I mean, Masada, you're absolutely right. James, you're absolutely right. It's not fair, but like all of us,
There is a place where they judge figs, Derek.
they judge figs.
Hey, I have a question for y'all. How y'all? And we talking music. Bob Marley, Get Up, Stand Up. Have y'all really paid attention to those lyrics? I've been in churches and stuff where they have those lyrics, and I'm like, do y'all understand what Bob Marley's saying? He said, "Get your heaven here on earth." Everybody's gonna be praying to something there, and they're tricking y'all while you're praying and hoping for yours. They're living theirs here. And when you say go inside you, my heaven on earth at times has been around my brother over there from Kenya, who they say that's where life started at. Being with my son, being with my family, being with y'all. This is part for me doing it. I'm not knocking no religion. I'm not knocking anything. But if I'm talking music, y'all all like Bob Marley. That Get Up, Stand Up. That was played in the 60s. I wasn't even alive, and I'm jamming to it. I have 6-year-old twins that can sing it. They sing Buffalo Soldier and Dreadlock Roster and all that, and they ain't got time to be resilient. Demetrius, yeah, they resilient. They hard as hell. I don't want to have to raise them hard as hell no more. I want to raise them smart as hell to be comfortable as hell, because you say earlier, Dunn said hell. When I read the Bible, it talked about hell being here, where I'm always thirsty, I'm always hungry, I'm always wanting peace and betrayed by friends. I'm looking at these pimps as pastors and these gators that I am talking about, them gators. I look at them old caddies and old pimps like, yo, y'all living a good life now. What we gonna do about our people though? I want mine here now.
Go get it, brother.
Young, it's all
Power to the people. Power to the
Hey,
people.
what y'all don't know, I got it. If I showed y'all some of what I had, y'all would be like, why are you complaining? I could be like everybody else and be like, my family good. And and we good. I'm not good though, because ever since I was little, when LaSalle say something was hurting him, ever since I was little, I would have pastors and preachers telling my mom I was gonna be one, and I'd be like, fuck no, I'm not. Because I actually care about people. I actually care. It hurts me. My only reason I'm worried about everybody else, that's my only fret at night, because when I wake up, when I say I got a garden, y'all, I can't even tell you what I got. I'm good. My kids love me. We doing our thing. But my other brother down the street, not. I ride by downtown. I ride by and see somebody homeless. I ride by and see a mother with her kids and they don't look like they got a place to live. I wake up and watch the news and I see across seas and I'm looking at everybody like me, and it's like Black Panther said, Killmonger. You looking all across this world and you see people that look like you and people like this, and we're hurting all over the planet. And yet we got all these people that can make a difference. I gotta say something. I don't give a fuck if they like me or not. Y'all need to do something, because when you say we don't, Demetrius say I ain't worried for these ball players doing something and all that. Motherfucker, I am. Dr. King didn't die for them to do this. Malcolm didn't die for them to do this. Because if they felt like that, then where would these assholes be at now? They wouldn't be in the league of their own. They wouldn't be in their white man's league. And we can make a Negro league again. They just need to say, I'm not gonna play. They got the money. What the fuck what are y'all scared of? What is everybody scared of? My bad, man. I digress. I won't say no more tonight. But y'all shouldn't have me on here all the time.
That's the beauty of this collective. You know, we all come from different places, but we all care about our people. And like you said, you speak to people I can't speak to, and vice versa. But we are collective, and together, you know, we hold each other up through the rough times, because we all go through them, my brother. But do what you do.
You better be up there.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Jackson. I've never even heard you this quiet. Are you still there?
Hey man, I'm here, man. I try to, be respectful to the platform. I'm not on Chronicle the podcast, because I ain't saying one cuss word tonight. See, I'm good.
Oh no, yes sir, you did. Yes, you did.
I did.
Oh, you said three or four that I remember.
Hey man, it just slipped out.
That's the numbers guys. I believe the numbers guys.
I'm sorry. I'm just that free.
No apologizing. Ain't no apologizing. We don't.
Not apologetic.
I'm just that free.
Exactly.
And I just really just got so much out of the night and appreciate all the comments from each one of you brothers.
That passion
I just
is
think
what makes it, like Derek said, that passion makes it what it is.
Passion makes it what it is. I think if you were born after, if you 40 years and under, either you wouldn't presented the plot or forgot the plot. That's what we are now.
No. I'm 40. Hold on, you can't do that. I'm 40. They credit to us.
We have something embedded in us to look forward to. The arch is gonna bend, and we see, okay, we can achieve that shit.
Yeah.
Because we know we got the fortitude to do it. So,
hey, Masada, I don't care what your number is.
Doing the shit.
I'm an 80s baby.
You old head. I don't care what your number is.
Yeah, you are 40. I was trying to say,
I'm being funny and facetious.
Come on.
But at the same time, this is what it is. We already wanted to know what happened to them crack babies. This is their grandkids right now. We didn't embed those plot. They didn't have no plot. So this is where we are now. It's all about get money, get money, get money. It's not about we come up together. We're all one, and we're trying to do something together. So that's it, man. We lost the plot. So
only in America, because Africa right now is getting together. They got their leader. He getting them all together.
In America, our young men, our families, somewhere along the line, we lost the plot. And we keep referring to Malcolm and Martin. Where the fuck is somebody else? We should be naming somebody else by now. That's have changed some shit.
Well, they Willie Lynch. They helped kill him. We can't name them. They helped kill him. They used to be out forefront. Now they're not.
We naming a whole lot of other brothers and so forth by now.
Like they say, everybody wanted to go to church, but everybody don't want. When it's time to go to heaven, it's like, ain't nobody ever come back and told me it was there. But,
Pay them dues.
And
Nobody
Demetrius,
want to pay them
we
dues.
were slumbered to sleep, and now we're
Demetrius,
gonna
you
let
been kind of
technology
quiet.
come upon us. Well, way back then, it was the muzzle. Now it's technology. They didn't beat us like this. They beat us like this. Now they're gonna beat us with technology. That's the weapon, how they're gonna weaponize it now. And they're already doing it. It's already there, man. So it's like I don't have all the answers. All I can tell everyone is go within, take care of yourself first, and then when you got yourself, then you can help somebody else.
Demetrius, he mentioned the word technology. That should be right up your alley.
It is. Matter of fact, speaking of, we have a platform, Prodigal AI, that we're programming as we speak. Matter of fact, you guys can go and test it out. We're programming him right now, a transformation. You can go ask any question as it relates to the Prodigal movement, as it relates to my book, as it relates to life, just common day, everyday questions that will be able to assist you on your journey. And it kind of shows people what it looks like now outside of dogma. Once again, I don't have anything wrong with church or any religion or what anyone subscribe to. Ask me, ain't nobody needs saved. You just need to remember who you are. That's your saving. That's the good news now. Is to remember who you are. Don't seek no source outside yourself. Before they came over and took us over on the ship, we didn't go outside ourselves. All what we're doing now, and we just brought the culture stuff and did what they allowed us to do, and this is what it looked like. Whether we shout, whether we do, that's just what it looks like now, because we were colonized. But we mixed the voodoo, hoodoo, and all we could to try to get through that. And then we, like you said, we started churches, we had the praise houses, we started school. Then we kind of got slumber. The pastor was the big thing now, and this thing that come the cars, and we just more the missions changed. Now we added some real good social service, and we're good for weddings, and we're good for making sure our loved ones are buried well and got a place to bury them. But besides the social services right now, we can't play this game, but with these folks playing in the White House with their have unloaded with Project 2025 and all the other projects that they haven't unleashed. There's a lot of meetings that's been going on for years that we ain't been in the room. And there's a whole lot of going on right now that we're not in the room. The plot ain't, they're not putting the plan together. They're playing the game right now. And we're caught up in it. It's going to be a slow motion, and some of us like us, we already know what's going on. So I keep bringing up now, because now is what the hell we need to be looking at, because it's not saying it's going to be some scary days. It's going to scare unless you don't know, but there are some dark days getting ready to come down. That's getting ready to be challenged. And unfortunately, the new heroes probably will be born in this dispensation, and we'll have some new Martins and Malcolms and so forth, because some people are going to have to die in order to get through this. And
you missed my question from last week.
Afraid to die for what they believe in.
You missed my question from last week. What's going to happen when that dude in Project 2025 did what they say they're going to do, and democracy is dead because it's been dead, but they're going to show you it's dead and say this is what we're going to do. And with all of that, you do have to look within, but I look at this, and I got it from you, Demetrius, and I got it from you, Derek, LaSalle, and all. This is the church right here. When you have the like minds coming together, this is church right here. And this is power right here. And that's what churches did. They weaponized it and monopolized it. Go look up Amen and A10 and go look up what those mean by definitions from the Hebrew days to the Egyptian and all that. Go look up from Amen to A10 and when Amen got inserted and what that means and what it means when everybody gets together and say one thing. It's power when you come together. And right now it's 7 of us coming together. We're speaking into existence. I'm not really asking the people that when I speak, Demetrius, Derek, LaSalle, everybody, I'm speaking to the people who want to hear it. So when I speak to the people who want to hear it, I don't give a fuck if I cuss, if I say it nice. Sorry about that too, bro. I forgot the kids are around. If I say it all nice or whatever, I know this. If they want to hear me, they will. The right people are going to want to. The ones who don't want to hear me anyway, they're going to find any excuse to not to hear me. So I'm gonna let them talk to you, Demetrius. I'm gonna let them talk to you, everybody else, because we gotta have separate. We gotta have separate parts that work as a whole. I told Brother LaSalle about it's called Voltron. Right now they have like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but that's when all these entities come together and form one. But each one plays a different part. It's like it being in the army and all. I'm not trying to be this one leader and that leader and all. We're all leaders. We all leaders, and we're all, and everybody we get are not going to be followers. We need leaders that are going to lead as well, and we all need to play our different parts. So when I'm speaking, I don't care who wants to hear me or not. I care about the people who my voice is supposed to hear. And brother Derek, the only time we got beef is I believe you can speak to the people I need to speak to in the rooms you're in, my brother. I've been in the Capitol Hill in the White House in sweats in my not apologetic gear, talking to these people with the $10,000 suits on and all that. I can articulate and hold my own with them because there's no difference between me and them, except that their people robbed my people a long time ago and got money, and now people think that's what we need to kill. We need to talk about that, brother James. Just because you got money and status, that don't mean you shit. Just because you got a degree, that don't mean you shit. I'm about your character and your soul. Anything else, it can be taken away, and that's man-made. I don't give a fuck about man-made.
That's it.
Brother Demetrius, let's get your viewpoint in here.
I think that the brothers have covered it, right? It is a degree of there's different messaging coming from different people. We are all leaders. I think that for me, the one difference I might have is I'm not waiting for another Malcolm or another Martin. I want another Derek. I need me another Don Jackson. I need about 15 Mr. Solomons. I even need me some Mr. Scotts. I need a few more Mr. Scotts in my life. But if we become agents of hope, agents of inspiration, agents, we touch every day. And I'm sticking with Mr. Jackson's thing today. We touch people every day. Now, if we do that, whether we're feeding them hope, whether we're feeding them inspiration, whether we're literally giving them solutions, we can feed them. And it can be 7 dudes right now can be as powerful as one Martin, one Malcolm. If we all take our gifts, our way, Masada's going to do it his way, and he's going to hit his people. I'm going to give somebody or talk to somebody about the prodigal. I'm going to talk to him about the 4 longest years of my life. I'm going to tell him the story. I'm going to talk about Masada cussing in front of them kids all night long. I don't know why he keeps it right. He knows it's right there, right? But I'm telling these stories. That's what we do. That's how we can do it. That's how we incrementally touch a lot more people. Because I don't think there's another Malcolm coming. I don't think there's another Martin coming. But I think there's a whole bunch of Anthony Scotts out there. I think there's a whole bunch of Don Jacksons out there. And I think that's the way we do it. And so I am Michael Jackson, man in the mirror. What can I do today to change my life and the life of the person I'm talking to? And like I said, I keep mentioning Lamarck because I think tonight, this topic was hope. The whole thing tonight was about hope, reclaiming hope. If there is a better definition of hope than what that man said earlier, I don't know what it is. I know how much it touched me and inspired me, and I'm going to carry it on. That's just the way I see it. I know I can talk to 3 people tomorrow, talk about this podcast. I'm going to get 2 of them. I might get all 3. And if all of us do that every day and we keep doing it, that's how we do it. Because and I'm not against the idea of the athlete. I don't count on them. I know what I can do. I know what Don Jackson can do. I know Masada going to cuss in front of them kids again before this podcast. Guarantee you that.
Hey, disclaimer. I'm on my phone, brothers, and I wanted to be with y'all so bad. My phone is on 3% and I'm charging it, but not with the regular charger. So I'm in here with that. And I probably do cuss in front of them, but I'm building resilience. I'm doing what you said. I'm building resilience. So words don't make a difference.
Your way. That's your way. And I'm here for all 7 ways. And I think that's the way it is. So that's my thoughts on it.
I love y'all, man. I can say that. I love y'all brothers in here. Thank y'all.
Brother LaSalle, I guess we're going to have to call you Solomon from now on, but why don't you take us home? Give us your final thoughts for the evening.
Well, I definitely wanted to synthesize what the 2 brothers were talking about. Now, can you hear me? Okay.
Hold on. Masada, give us a mute, bro. Give us a mute.
I agree.
Right. Yeah, I just want to synthesize what the 2 brothers was talking about because I do think it's a distinction, first off, about the resilience thing. And I also remember saying, F resilience for sake of the kids. I'm gonna say F right now. I remember saying, I said the full thing, then, and I said the whole thing. And that was in the context of, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Like I mentioned earlier, that history, we need to revisit that history and all those times when those men and women experienced despair, and then more despair while they were having hope. There needs to be justice for that. We need to do something about that. Maybe honor them. I don't know exactly what it could be, but I do know that that we're not gullible anymore. We can't be gullible anymore, rather. That's what resilience looks like to me as well. But just a distinction. So what I believe Brother Masada, I'm pretty sure Brother Masada is talking about, is not resilience in and of itself. It's the resilience that's given as a tranquilizer to prevent action. And I know my brother Demetrius is talking about that as an example, the resilience as an example, as a way of fighting, and then also with other components put in there, but very much like that Voltron thing we mentioned, you got to have that armor of resilience. You also said that, and I know you have that. I know you implanted that in your kids, Brother Masada. So I feel like we're almost talking almost slightly past each other, slightly, when it comes to, we're really attacking false resilience that is more like complacency, that really fools us, which, pretty much the whole show is about. The definitely needs to die, for sure. And we need to replace this false complacency with competence. Competence is fire, but it can fuel the strength of resilience. But of course, like we really concede, we can't stop there. And I think both of you actually spoke there. We all spoke about taking steps forward, and I stepped over the prompt. We're going to go into how do you define hope for America? Kind of doing that now, but especially for Black America, how do you define hope? It's, you have that armor in your chest. You get, we've been killed, we've been shot at. From South Central, we kind of wake up and go to sleep with gunshots back then. We see dead bodies. We see brothers killing brothers, unfortunately, and we not like us. We not like how we used to be in that context. And I lived in Compton as well. Resilience is this fire to, like hope. We're not just going to sit back and wait. Oh man, no, it's a fire that is like the engine underneath things that we're doing that we never did before, and that we need to actually keep doing courageous things that we never did before, and win, and believing that we can win. Because without that belief that it's possible, you miss when I have hope in anything.
Yeah. Well, guys, as usual, my show ran a little bit over, but I thought we had a great conversation. Mr. Scott, I want to invite you back as many times as you can come. Brother Jackson, you can come by, anytime. We have a wide open invitation. You other four brothers, I expect to see you guys regularly. So, if I don't see you guys, there's going to be some nasty emails sent out. So, but
I like to, not to cut you off, I like to end your show with the new 7 highly dated commandments from Prodigal, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead. What do you think, fellas?
Close this out on page 58. All right. I told you we're going to be efficient. I took away the 10, so we're about change, correct? All right. So the first one, number 1, love everyone as yourself. We can keep that one.
Yep.
Number 2, judge no one. Number 3, mind your own damn business. Number 4, do what makes you happy because happiness is you. Number 5, you're not a separate self, so act like it. Number 6, God doesn't need your money. He never did. Take that damn 10% and invest it in yourself and you'll get a better return.
Mhm.
And number 7, when in doubt, remember commandment number 5. Once again, commandment number 5, you are not a separate self, so act like it. It's only one thing happening: consciousness, the ground core of all subjectivity. The one that hears my voice, the same voice that's speaking, is consciousness. We're together. We're all connected, brother. So appreciate you, man. Back. Let me let you in your show before I get off on my tangent.
One recommendation: mind your own damn business should have been number 1. That's all I'm saying.
Put it in the middle.
Probably should have been number 1. Everybody should have been number 1. Is all I'm saying. No,
Remember number 5. You're not a separate self. You are God. You are conscious. Whatever language you want to call yourself, just remember you are that. The same person that's hearing his voice, that is you. That's consciousness.
good stuff.
All right, guys, have a great night. Look forward to talking to everybody next week. Go ahead, Masadi. You have something there?
Oh no, that's just me giving the peace symbol. That's my peace symbol. I do it together. Go look up what together means. Go look what together means. It means one.
And I did read your email there, and I got to figure out a way that we can bring those topics on the show.
I'm just giving you ideas so you're not alone, brother.
Yeah. So as I said, guys, anytime you think of something that you want to talk about, hey, let me know. I'm good. You know, this program is for us, and it's about us, not me.
We the people.
We the people.
That's right. We
All right, guys. Have a great night, and hopefully I'll see everybody next Tuesday. Have a good
all
one.
right, guys. Have a good one.
I share.
All love.
I share.
Appreciate it.
Peace.